Okay, so we've read the story Island of the Blue Dolphins. Now it's time to hear the author's note. Where did he get the idea for this story? The island called in this book the Island of the Blue Dolphins was first settled by Indians in about 2000 BC, but it was not discovered by white men until 1602. In that year, the Spanish explorer Sebastian Vizcaíno set out from Mexico in search of a port where treasure galleons from the Philippines could find shelter in case of distress. Sailing along the California coast, he sighted the island, sent a small boat ashore, and named it La Isla de San Nicolas, in honor of the patron saint of sailors, travelers, and merchants. As the centuries passed, California changed from Spanish to Mexican lands. The Americans arrived, but only occasional hunters visited the island. Its Indian inhabitants remained in isolation. The girl Robinson Crusoe, whose story I have attempted to recreate, actually lived alone upon this island from 1835 to 1853, and is known to history as the Lost Woman of San Nicolas. The facts about her are few. From the reports of Captain Hubbard, whose schooner carried away the Indians of Galasat, we know that the girl did jump into the sea, despite efforts to restrain her. From records left by Captain Nadiver, we know he found her 18 years later, along with a dog in a crude house on the headland, dressed in a skirt of cormorant feathers. Father Gonzalez of Santa Barbara Mission, who befriended her after her rescue, learned that her brother had been killed by wild dogs. He learned little else, for she spoke to him only in signs. Neither he nor the many Indians at the mission could understand her strange language. The Indians of Galasat had long since disappeared. The lone woman of San Nicolas is buried on a hill near the Santa Barbara Mission. Her skirt of green cormorant feathers was sent to Rome. Outermost of 8 Channel Islands, San Nicolas is about 75 miles southwest of Los Angeles. For years, historians thought that it had been settled some 6 centuries ago, but recent carbon-14 tests of excavations on the island show that Indians came here from the north long before the Christian era. Their images of the creatures of the land, sea, and air, similar to those found on the shores of Alaska, and carved with extraordinary skill, may be seen at the Southwest Museum in Los Angeles. The future of San Nicolas is not clear. It is now a secret base of the United States Navy, but scientists predict that because of the pounding waves and furious winds, it will one day be swept back into the sea. In the writing of the Island of the Blue Dolphins, I am deeply indebted to Maud and Deloise Lovelace, to Bernice Eastman Johnson of the Southwest Museum, and to Fletcher Carr, formerly curator of the San Diego Museum of Man. So you see, the author, Scott Odell, had to do some research in order to write a historical fiction book. He wanted to base it on as many historical facts as he could. Now, obviously, nobody knows for sure her life story or what happened to her on the island, so he had to make part of it up to make for a more interesting read. A lot of historians have argued over whether or not it was her brother or her own child that was left behind on the island, causing her to jump off the ship. If you enjoyed this story, you might enjoy other historical fiction novels or other books written by Scott Odell. And you might want to look at the little video clip about the lone woman of San Nicolas Island. There's some factual information in there. And definitely check out the link that Mrs. Jansen found for us all. It has great information from Channel Islands, the museum, I think. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this book, and we'll see what real louds we have in store for the future. Bye, students.